The drought in the Great Plains has reduced hay production and increased hay prices, affecting livestock producers and rural economies. Hay is an essential feed source for cattle, horses, sheep, and other livestock animals. It provides nutrients and roughage that help animals maintain their health and productivity. However, hay production depends on adequate rainfall and soil moisture, which have been scarce in the Great Plains region due to persistent drought conditions. According to the U.S. Drought Monitor, as of May 18, 2023, more than 80% of the Great Plains region was experiencing some level of drought, with 36% in extreme or exceptional drought. These are the two worst categories of drought, indicating widespread crop and pasture losses and water shortages. The drought has affected the quantity and quality of hay crops in the region. The U.S. Department of Agriculture reported that hay stocks on May 1, 2023 were down 13.4% from the previous year and 26.4% from the 10-year average. In some states, such as Kansas, Nebraska, Oklahoma, and Texas, hay stocks were down by more than 40% from the average. The reduced supply of hay has driven up the prices for livestock producers who need to buy supplemental feed for their animals. The average price of alfalfa hay in April 2023 was $196 per ton, up 16% from a year ago and 23% from the 5-year average. Other types of hay, such as grass hay and mixed hay, also saw significant price increases. The high cost of hay has put a strain on the profitability and sustainability of livestock operations in the Great Plains. Many producers have been forced to reduce their herd sizes, sell their animals at lower prices, or relocate to areas with better forage conditions. Some have also switched to alternative feed sources, such as corn stalks, wheat straw, or distillers' grains, which may be cheaper but less nutritious than hay. The drought and hay situation has also had ripple effects on the rural economies of the Great Plains. Hay is a major source of income for many farmers and ranchers who sell their surplus to other producers or export it to other regions or countries. The reduced hay production and sales have reduced their revenues and cash flows, affecting their ability to pay their bills and invest in their businesses. The drought has also reduced the demand for farm inputs and services, such as seeds, fertilizers, equipment, transportation, and labor, affecting other sectors of the rural economy. The outlook for the hay market in the Great Plains is uncertain and depends largely on the weather conditions in the coming months. If the drought persists or worsens, hay production will likely remain low and prices will likely remain high or increase further. If the drought eases or ends, hay production will likely recover and prices will likely decline or stabilize. However, even if the drought ends soon, it may take some time for the hay supply and demand to return to normal levels and for the livestock industry and rural economy to recover from the impacts of the drought. The states of Kansas, Nebraska, Oklahoma, and Texas are among the worst hit by the drought, with low hay stocks and high demand. Hay is an essential feed for livestock, especially cattle, which are abundant in these states. The drought has reduced the availability and quality of hay, forcing many producers to sell their animals or buy expensive supplements. According to the U.S. Department of Agriculture, hay stocks in these 4 states were down 13.4% on May 1 compared to the same date last year. Compared to the 10-year average, hay stocks were down 25.5% in Kansas, 51.6% in Nebraska, 62.3% in Oklahoma, and 41.3% in Texas. These 4 states account for about 21% of total U.S. hay production and 32% of the U.S. beef cow herd. The drought has also affected the 2023 hay crop, which is expected to be below average in yield and quality. The range and pasture conditions in these states were rated poor to very poor by 64% in Kansas, 68% in Nebraska, 54% in Oklahoma, and 52% in Texas as of early May. The drought has also increased the risk of wildfires, which can destroy hay fields and storage facilities. The low supply and high demand for hay have driven up the prices for both producers and consumers. The average price of alfalfa hay in these 4 states was $189 per ton in April, up 19% from a year ago. The price of other hay was $140 per ton, up 27% from last year. Some producers have reported paying as much as $400 per ton for range cubes and $80 per bale for round bales. The high cost of hay and supplements has reduced the profitability of livestock operations and increased the cost of meat products for consumers. Some producers have opted to reduce their herd size or relocate their animals to areas with better forage conditions. Others have sought alternative sources of feed, such as crop residues, silage, or donated hay. The drought in the Great Plains is a serious challenge for the agricultural sector and the food system. It affects not only the production of hay, but also other crops such as wheat, corn, and soybeans. It also has environmental and social impacts, such as soil erosion, water scarcity, and rural stress. The drought is expected to persist or worsen in some areas due to climate change and variability. Therefore, it is important to monitor the situation and implement adaptation and mitigation strategies to cope with the effects of drought on hay production and prices. The drought that has been affecting the Great Plains region for the past few years has had a severe impact on hay production and prices. Hay is a vital crop for livestock producers, especially for beef cattle, which rely on it for most of their nutrition during the winter months. Hay is also used to feed dairy cows, horses, sheep, goats, and other animals. According to the U.S. Department of Agriculture, hay stocks on May 1, 2023 were down 13.4% from the previous year and 26.4% from the 10-year average. In some of the worst-hit states, such as Kansas, Nebraska, Oklahoma, and Texas, hay stocks were down by more than 40% from the average. These 4 states account for about 21% of total U.S. hay production and 32% of the U.S. beef cow herd. The low supply of hay has driven up its price significantly. In April 2023, the average price of alfalfa hay in the U.S. was $201 per ton, up 27% from a year ago and 36% from the 10-year average. Grass hay had a high of $180 per ton, but most of the hay is now in a range of $120 to $130 per ton. In some areas of Texas, round bales of hay were selling for $80 or more. The high cost of hay is putting a strain on livestock producers, who have to spend more money to feed their animals or reduce their herd size. Some producers have resorted to alternative feed sources, such as corn stalks, wheat straw, or cottonseed hulls, but these are often less nutritious or more expensive than hay. The drought has also reduced the quality and quantity of pasture land, forcing some ranchers to sell or relocate their cattle. The reduced availability and increased cost of hay and other feed sources have implications for food prices across the country. Beef production is expected to decline in 2023 due to lower cattle numbers and lower weights. This could lead to higher beef prices for consumers, as well as higher prices for dairy products, eggs, and poultry that depend on feed grains. The drought could also affect other crops that are grown in rotation with hay, such as wheat, corn, and soybeans, which could have ripple effects on food prices and exports.